Hello, Mesa, Arizona. It is Mesa Morning Live, kind of virtual. The cool thing is it's any time of day you want it to be. Thanks for tuning in. This is our first virtual edition of Mesa Morning Live, and it's kind of cool. Instead of being at the Crescent Crown, where normally we feed you and get you all coffeeed up, you're on your own today. So get your own coffee, settle back. The cool thing is you don't have to wear pants to this one, and you can't do that at Crescent Crown, well, more than once. So it's good to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody's getting through this crazy time we're living in, the COVID little intermission here. This is your host, Mark Cordes. I look like I'm a cook in an old Western, you know, like sitting around the campfire. Hey, cookie. Anyway, I'm not real proud of this, but this is what's going on. But it's good to have you here. We've got a great show for you today, so without further ado, well, let's talk a little bit about this. This is sponsored by Salt River Project. SRP has been delivering a commitment to provide reliable and affordable power to the Valley of the Sun, to Central Arizona for more than a century. By providing these essential resources, SRP has helped the Phoenix metropolitan area develop, and not just develop, but thrive. Today's show is abbreviated, but we've got some great guests. So please, without further ado, let's kick this off. You can tune in and see any of our previous episodes on Mesa Morning Live on YouTube. Let's go ahead and get started with today's show. Let's take a moment and welcome our first guest today, representing episode opener SRP Project. Please join me in welcoming SRP Electric Vehicle Lead, Catherine O'Brien. Catherine, welcome to Mesa Morning Live.
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Catherine, and also how you ended up at SRP and where you are now.
Yeah, born, raised here in Phoenix, Arizona, so I am a native. Went to the University of Arizona and got a bachelor's degree in engineering mathematics. And luckily enough, after college, I got hired into a company that did contract work for SRP. So I did that for about 8 years, and then was lucky enough to get hired full-time into SRP, and I've been there for about 11, almost 12 years now, coming up on my 12-year anniversary. So I have been going through the gamut of multiple disciplines within SRP. I've done transmission, distribution, a couple other things, and recently landed a lead position for our electric vehicle strategy. So it's kind of a weird title to have electric vehicle lead. I like to say I'm helping lead our electric vehicle strategy here at SRP. So that's a little bit about myself. I've husband, 2 kids, mother. You missed it earlier. I had my mother coworker coming into the office here and grabbing something and leave, but that's just a part of this new telecommuting life, right? That's awesome. That's me.
That's awesome. Well, what's cool about it, if we were live at Crescent Crown right now, and you mentioned going to the U of A, there would have to be a pause break there because there'd be a lot of people clapping for the U of A and a lot of people booing their ASU fans. So this was much more. This is much more in the moment because we didn't have to do that. It didn't turn into a rally there. But we'll talk a little bit about.
It usually happens.
Exactly. Talk a little bit about the electric vehicle lead, your role. What's going on with SRP and the electric vehicles?
Yeah, well, SRP has our 2035 EV corporate goal, which ties in with our sustainability goals, which we're trying to enable 500,000 electric vehicles within our service territory, along with managing the charging of that. So there's a lot of stuff going into it. We have a lot of internal resources, internal stakeholders, departments that are really making up this key strategy for SRP. I get the luxury of leading it and dealing with all the different departments, making sure things were coordinated, If questions come up on what SRP is doing, I can try to answer that or get you to the right person who can. But we have a lot of stuff going on at SRP. Biggest thing right now is our customer programs business EV charging rebate. We had it before. Originally, we had it for, we're giving businesses 500,000, that'd be awesome. $500 per charging port. And we recently, with this new fiscal year, have upped it to $1,500. The only stipulation is what they call a network charger. So it has a little bit more technical stuff in it, a little bit more smarts and communication features. So that's just one of our big customer programs that we're doing right now at SRP. That's
awesome. So you're offering incentives for your customers to have that electric vehicle. Is that working? Roughly how many customers do you have that are taking advantage of that?
Just like most areas, we've had to kind of limit how many that we were going to do this year just because of budget constraints with the economic recession and stuff. But so far, I don't know if I can say the actual customer, but we do have one customer that's already going to be partaking in about 50 of those 50 spots of that rebate. And so that's really amazing. What's good about this is when we say it's a business charger rebate, it's not for any corporation specifically for workplace charging or for their or fleet charging. It also includes multi-unit family dwellings, apartment complexes that, customers want electric vehicles, but if they don't have a place to charge, it's kind of a turnoff. And range anxiety is the biggest key factor in holding back someone getting an electric vehicle. So we are offering it, again, not just to businesses or corporations, but we're also including that to our multi-unit dwelling family locations as well.
That's great. Now, I heard, maybe this is a rumor, but I heard that you're going to offer your customers Teslas, that every customer is going to get a Tesla. Is there any proof to that?
I'll be the first one to get that. Okay. So once that happens, we'll start rolling out on the first come, first serve basis. But man, that would be wonderful if we could do that. That or the new Rivian R1T, R1S, their truck and SUV that they just, I just saw a clip of that yesterday. That it looks like they're going to be heading that out in, I want to say the first quarter of next year, but that looks nice. I'm a truck girl, so I would definitely go for the truck or the SUV that Rivian would be.
Well, I think maybe as a way to help you work all the bugs out of the system, why don't you go ahead and get the first one, and I'll take the second one, and we'll report to each other and work out the bugs on this.
Works great for me. I don't mind that.
All right. What are the goals for the SRP program? Do you have long-term goals?
Our long-term goals, like I said, is to meet our 2035 goal of enabling 500,000 EVs within our service territory, along with doing managed charging. And to get that, we have a whole suite of we'll call them sectors, EV sectors that we're looking into. This includes businesses, residential. We have a fabulous person, Sharon Bonesteel, within our organization that's working with all the different municipalities on trying to get EV-ready home building codes set out and put in place. So we're working on that and working with public charging infrastructure. One of our goals is to work with some third-party vendors on putting in some infrastructure. We would like to test out a DC, a direct current fast charging station. We would like to find a spot within our service territory where we can put this charging station in, test it out, understand what it's like to be an owner, to own and operate this type of technology, because it's not just something where you have the equipment, you put it in and you go. There's a lot more into it. How is that interoperability of how a customer will pay for that? What are the actual installation costs and on top of the actual facility equipment costs? So that's something that we're looking into. And we're also wanting to find ways that we can serve the underserved communities. I think at the grand scheme of things, electric vehicles will really help in Arizona's overall air quality. We've seen it today with stay-at-home orders and telecommuting. The air quality has definitely gotten better here in the state. So that just goes to show how electric vehicles are really important. It's important to our air quality. It's important to health. And if we can help our underserved community in getting and having that availability of electric vehicles and have access to charging infrastructure, that will help us out as well. But those are just some of the things that we are looking into and part of our goals and objectives.
Okay, shifting gears a little bit here. I understand you're a fan of dance. Now, I don't know what that means. Maybe you can just kind of take that and run with it. And feel free to dance at any point if you'd like.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'll tell you, my dancing skills and story might not be as exciting as Will Novak's story from last year. But for about 10 years, I danced. I did jazz, tap, and ballet, and I absolutely loved it. To many different local competitions. The dance troupe I was in, we also went to national competitions. Most of them, for some reason, happened to be in Las Vegas. I don't know why, but they just happened to be in Vegas. So it was really great as like 11, 12, 13-year-old going to Vegas and like seeing the big lights and glitter. And but it's always fun. I had so many different costumes and dances that I had that I didn't have to worry about what I was wearing for Halloween because I could just pick up a dance costume and that would be my Halloween costume. But no, just absolutely love dancing. Just my daughter did not get my moves at all. I feel sorry for her, but my son definitely has some dance moves. So I'm excited that I can at least pass something on down to one of my kids.
That is awesome. I'm sure he's very happy with that. But that's a cool story and good to have that. You know, these crazy times, it's always good to have something to fall back on. You could go on So You Think You Could Dance and be, like J-Lo.
Oh, most definitely. I have the body and skills and especially singing talent that she has to incorporate that. So, or I can, maybe just be one of the backup dancers. I'm good with that. I can.
That's awesome. Well, from now on, I'll always refer to you as the Dancing Wildcat from SRP. So it's good.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Well, I'm a little bit bummed out. Our time is up. I'm a little bummed. I'm not going to get out of here today with an electric vehicle, but that's something that we can work on down the road. So
maybe that's something we can put into one of our objectives and goals is to make sure that you get an electric vehicle.
Okay, we've got this
at some time in the future.
We've got this videotaped, and I will follow up on that. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us today, and keep up the good work at SRP.
All right, thank you. It was nice meeting you, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Catherine. Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine O'Brien, there you go. That was awesome. That's good. See, everybody has a hidden talent. Sally, would you like to dance, maybe? Okay. We'll edit that out. We'll pretend that wasn't there. It's time to welcome our next guest. This gentleman is no stranger to Mesa Morning Live. It's the very first time I've had the privilege of interviewing him or talking to him via some kind of a technological thing like this, and I kind of like it. I kind of like this social distance that I have with Dave Richins right here. He is, I'm going to get his title correct. He is the CEO and president of the United Food Bank. Please welcome, at home, with a big round of applause, put your coffee down, please welcome Mr. Dave Richins. Dave, good to have you here. That's
great to be here, Mark, as usual. I think this is our 5th or 6th time together on Mesa Morning Live.
Yes, it is, and I think this is the way we ought to do it from now on.
Yeah, each and every one has provided its own traumatic experience for you. So counseling shall be forthcoming.
Yeah, and that's awesome. So what are you doing these days? How are things during this whole pandemic, nightmare, COVID? How has that affected things at the food bank?
You know, it's mostly lemonade and hammocks right now. I mean, there's just not a lot going on at a food bank. No, it's been a very unique experience to manage a food bank in a pandemic. I think the thing that I've been most touched by is the deep need in our community for food assistance. And the other is the performance of the team here at United Food Bank. And especially on top of that is a partnership that we forged with the city of Mesa to really respond to this pandemic in a broad way. I found out today that since March 27th, when we really started getting together doing that distribution at the Mesa Convention Center, between United Food Bank and our subsidiary Waste Not, that's another nonprofit that delivers prepared meals, we have delivered a total of 1.5 million meals to the Mesa community.
Wow, that's amazing. It just goes to show you, pandemic or not, people still need to eat, and I know there's a lot of need out there. And thanks for stepping up. And that's a lot. 1.5 million meals. That's amazing.
Yeah, we saw our numbers go up pretty quickly. We typically do about 500 families at a distribution we do on Fridays at our volunteer center. The pandemic hit, we quickly went to 1,200. We moved over to the convention center, hit 2,400 for about 5 weeks. That's since backed off to around 1,800 right now. But we couldn't have done it without our partnership with the city of Mesa. The city has stepped up. They provided the Mesa Convention Center for us to be able to do a socially distanced food distribution and get food directly into people's trunks, be able to keep both our volunteers and City of Mesa employees and the clients themselves safe, and give them a good supply of healthy, nutritious food.
What kind of inventory do you have? I don't know if that's the right word, but it's tough when a lot of people are kind of huddled around at home and sticking around there. It's tough for some of them to get out and go make the donation to the food bank. Have you got a pretty good supply, a backup?
Yeah, actually, when this first hit, our grocery store donations dropped by 90%, right the first couple of weeks. And then our food drives all evaporated, as did our volunteers. And so once we got back on our feet and kind of regrouped, we started growing those lines of donations back again. Fortunately, we had done some advanced planning about food supply coming into the food bank. So we had trucks scheduled at least 2 a day, every day, coming into the food bank of a variety of food products. So we have everything from milk and sour cream and cottage cheese and really nice dairy to really good selection of vegetables to meat products. So the folks that are coming to these distributions are getting enough food to really last them through a whole week, and the ability to build a variety of meals out of what they get. Typically, the choice is not as robust as it is right now. But given some of the bills that passed Congress, the Coronavirus Relief Act, there are several programs that USDA put in place to enable us to provide more variety to people that have food security issues right now.
Wow, that's awesome. That's got to be very gratifying to know that you're a first line of defense against hunger for a lot of folks.
Yeah, it's been, I don't want to call it a lot of fun. It's been a lot of hard work, but the team here at the food bank they've flexed to every challenge that we've thrown at them. I come up with some new challenge for them and they rise to the occasion and meet it. A lot of this we couldn't do without the city of Mesa. The city had employees that were underemployed. They had programs that were canceling. They had different challenges that were coming to city employees. So we were able to grab those city employees and put them right to work in helping us prepare food boxes, helping us set up for the food distributions that we did on a regular basis. And so the city has been a key partner in making this all happen, both with funding and with personnel and emotionally. I mean, the support we've gotten from city leaders to help the folks that come to our distributions has been absolutely tremendous. So big thanks to the city of Mesa for that.
That's awesome. Well, let's kind of take a moment, pretend this is an infomercial for the United Food Bank, and you've got a direct pipeline into people's computers and living rooms. what would your plea be for either donations or volunteers, or cash always works?
Yes, yes, and yes. Those are all, you nailed all three of them. Volunteers, we're starting to need more volunteers. The City of Mesa folks are starting to get back to work a little bit more. Some of the programs back up. They've figured out how to do it in an appropriate and healthy way. So we're going to need more volunteers going forward. We have lots of protocols in place to keep people healthy when they come volunteer at United Food Bank, including masking and hand washing and temperature taking and all that fun stuff. So more volunteers is always, always appreciated. Food donations and food drives, we like to get those ramped up again. You can contact Melissa Forrester. She's a good friend of the Chamber of Commerce. She's been around for a long time. Contact Melissa. She can get you set up for a food drive. And right now, we're in the middle of our Summer of a Million Meals campaign. You might see that on 12 News. We have a great partnership with Fry's Food Stores and Cobblestone Auto Spa. You can go to Fry's and you can donate at the register to Summer of a Million Meals, or you can go to azmillionmeals.org. And we're using those funds that we collect through that campaign to restock our shelves.
That's awesome. You know, we keep saying Mesa, but I know the effects of the food bank actually leave the Mesa area kind of far and wide. Can you talk a little bit about that?
You bet. We go into 5 counties. So we cover the eastern part of Maricopa County, so all the East Valley cities that you know and love. And then we're in Pinal County, Gila County, and the southern half of Apache and Navajo County. So we have 9 Native American reservations. We've done several special distributions with San Carlos and White Mountain to make sure that they have the things. In fact, we have a truckload of water going up to San Carlos. That's your prompt to remind me to talk about the hydration campaign. So we serve all those communities as far up into the White Mountains of Springerville. So we've sent several extra truckloads of food into those communities to make sure that they had what they needed during the pandemic.
That's awesome. Well, the one thing I miss about not being face-to-face with you is when you come on Mesa Morning Live, you're always showing off a very classy sock collection. Is there any way that you can?
Yeah, of course. I was hoping you'd ask. Today it's a blue sock with a little style here with the blue shoe to match the blue shirt. You know, so yeah, got to have a little bit of fun with the socks every day. And blue is representative of water and our Mesa hydration campaign that we're doing with the City of Mesa. I would be remiss if I didn't give that a plug. You can donate to the city. You can take water to various locations. I'm hoping Mayor Giles will recall the website. I think it's mesaaz.gov/H2O Mesa is the website. So collecting a lot of water is a lot of heat. We get that out to a lot of agencies who are serving folks that that don't find a lot of relief from the heat, such as the homeless. And so love the donation for that campaign.
That's awesome. And I need you to come through with your socks. I'm not trying to show off, but look what I just got today as a little bonus. I couldn't be more excited. It's my Mesa Chamber socks. I don't know if you can see those, but it's pretty cool.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, those like from the Richins.
They'll go all the way up to your knee and give you a lot of support to your calf, so you'll love that.
Well, good. That's good to know. I need support hose at this point in my life.
That's what I figured. So,
Dave, keep up the good work. How many bottles of water are you trying to collect?
450,000, I think, is the number this year. Is that right, Mayor? The Mayor will come on.
Where are you on that? Are you getting close?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're just over 100,000 right now, so we have a ways to go.
Okay, well, we can.
A pallet of water. Yeah, a pallet of water is about $150. So the Mesa Chamber has an ongoing pallet challenge to any business that wants to buy a pallet of water from Walmart or Costco and have it shipped on over United Food Bank.
That's awesome. Now, as we move into the fall, does that change anything with the food bank? Are we? Do you have any events planned? Of course, we don't know what live events are going to be like, but any big fall plans?
No, we've really backed off on a lot of our social fundraising type things that we do, but we're continuing to restock our shelves here at United Food Bank and make sure that we can continue to meet the need. We don't know what it's going to look like going into the future, and that's the hardest part, is the uncertainty. and planning around that uncertainty. The good news is we have funding in place to be able to, we've spent over $2.5 million on food in the last 120 days. A lot of that comes in over the next few months. And so what's in store for the fall is receiving lots of truckloads of food, getting it into our warehouse, getting it in bags and out to the public.
That's a tremendous amount of money. That's roughly twice what I've spent on food in the last couple of months, being in lockdown. It's not a good thing. But Dave, keep up the good work. I say it every time I see you. You're the right man for the job. It's not an easy job, but it's a job that needs to be done. And thanks for taking care of it.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, Dave Richins, United Food Bank. Keep up the good work, buddy. It's time for our final guest, because there's nobody that can follow this guy. This is a good friend of not only Mesa Morning Live, but I like to think we're friends. Whenever I can't make it, he's my number one call-in, stand-in guy. And quite frankly, I'm a little upset. He does a better job at this than I do. And so at some point when this insanity is behind us, I'm going to challenge him. I want to be the mayor for a day. But we'll cover that when the time comes. But without further ado, there wouldn't be a Mesa Morning Live without the great city of Mesa, and there wouldn't be a great city of Mesa without the great mayor. Please welcome Mayor John Giles. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Mark. Good to be with you. You know, there's been a few days over the last few weeks that I would have taken you up on that mayor for a day thing. So I've got your number handy. Next time the governor has a press conference, I'm calling you.
Well, you know, I'm here for you, John. I'm kind of in the on deck circle. All you got to do is let me know, and I'll step.
Okay.
And
all right, stay warm.
I might add a little bit of levity to some of those press conferences. So let me know.
That's been missing so far, so that's a good idea.
That's great. Well, this has got to be, boy, you didn't know when you signed up for this job that something like this would be coming down the pike, but let us know what it's like to be the mayor during these turbulent times.
You know, it's been amazing. I mean, I was reflecting the other day that prior to this experience, I remember talking about my favorite part about Mesa was the people, and I honestly meant that. When I said it before, but having gone through this experience, I got to tell you, it's I can say that with a lot of conviction now. Going through these types of experiences really brings out the best in people. And as you've seen, Dave Richins has done a great job of describing in that context how people have stepped up in amazing ways, and that's been duplicated all over our community. So it's been just a privilege for me to be here and to witness the way that our community's responded. But I wouldn't have certainly have wished this on any community or country or state. But I am very, very proud of the way that our organization, the Mesa City government, has responded. But really, it's been that's just been a small part of it. It's been the way the community has responded on an individual basis, caring for family members, caring for neighbors and friends and folks in your church, caring for total strangers. It's just been very, very inspiring.
I know you've got a program called the Business Reemergence Program for Mesa Cares.
Right.
I know the title, but I don't know much more than that. What can you share about that?
Well, just to back up a little bit, Mesa is a very large city, as you might know. We're over 500,000 people, so that means that we got direct funding from the federal government as part of the CARES Act, and about $90 million, to be honest with you. And that sounds like a wonderful blessing, and it is, but it's also a wonderful challenge. And so we as a community very quickly decided that we wanted to make sure that we use these very important tax dollars in the most effective way that we could. So we began immediately, before the money even got here, asking a lot of questions, making a lot of phone calls, trying to identify what are the needs of our community. And what we found out is people are very afraid. As Dave Richins indicated earlier, there's a lot. Number one was food insecurity. And so as Dave indicated, a big part of what we did was partnering with food banks and with restaurants. And we've pushed a lot of food, through Dave's organization and others to respond to that anxiety that people were experiencing about food insecurity. But also very much on their minds was financial insecurity and economic insecurity. And so, the part of the CARES Act was many well, they have literally trillions of dollars that went into PPP and other programs to shore up the economy. But at the same time, a lot of that money was when we wanted to, we thought there were some businesses that were missing out, some small businesses, particularly in Mesa, that didn't qualify for federal assistance. So we initiated a Mesa Cares program and a small business assistance program. And so part of that was grants. We paid small businesses that were struggling and impacted by COVID. They're a couple of months, 3 months actually of rent and a utility assistance. And then after that program was resolved, we realized that a lot of businesses were struggling because they were maybe not as sophisticated as they were or could be. They could use somebody kind of looking over their shoulder, giving them advice, helping them with websites and helping them with accounting practices and just a lot of the things that small businesses kind of struggle with. So we have this mesaaz.gov/CARES Biz Tech Assistance Program. And this is a program there's really no reason that every business in the city shouldn't be enrolling in this program because it's totally free. But it's folks that are going to come into your business and help you get better at being a good business person, help you with setting up accounting systems, help you with websites, help you with whatever it is that you're struggling with. So I would encourage everybody. I know this is a kind of a chamber-centered event, so certainly if you're a Mesa Chamber member, do yourself a favor and make sure you apply for this program. But if you're not, if you're a business large or small in Mesa, I really hope that you'll take advantage of this program because you really, really will benefit from it.
Well, I know that your passion and commitment is to make Mesa the best it can be as far as a place to work and raise a family and be in the business community. What can fellow Mesa residents do to help one another out during this tough time?
You know, there's a lot of different ways to skin that cat, right? I mean, everybody's just got to look around and lift where you stand. You know, there's people in your family, in your neighborhood, in your circle of friends that you need to care for. I think everybody knows we're particularly concerned about our seniors. One of the things that I've learned through this experience is that Mesa has a lot of seniors that are disconnected. You know, they don't have a social safety net. They don't have someone who's calling and going to the grocery store for them or doing what they need to help insulate them from being exposed to the virus. So I would encourage people to be particularly aware of those who are at risk, people that are immunocompromised or elderly or otherwise really put at risk by this virus. One of the programs that we've stood up to help with that is called the Adopt a Grandparent Program. We're doing it through the 4R Cities organization in the city, which is a lot of kind of faith-based churches that have stepped up to help us with that. But we would welcome volunteers. The 480-644-CARE telephone number is kind of the hotline for all COVID-related activities in the city. If you and really one of the best ways to deal with the anxiety and the stress and you know the mental health challenges that come with being cooped up and worrying about yourself and others is to look for opportunities to help other people. That's very rewarding to see the folks that are out throwing those boxes of food into people's trunks at Dave's events. They've got smiles. You can't tell because they're wearing masks, but I think they've got smiles on their faces because that's a great way to help yourself and get through some of the mental challenges that come with this.
That's great. Great advice. I know you've been very active and prominent in the Mesa restaurant scene. What's your take on takeout?
You know, it's always bugged me that Mesa's kind of, for whatever reason, people would look down their nose on the Mesa restaurant scene. And I think that's just exactly the opposite of my experience. There are so many authentic, independent, one-off restaurants in Mesa that I think we've got some of the best cuisine in the valley. Anybody wants to complain about food in Mesa, I'll take them out, for dinner once a week, every night for a month, and they'll really get a kick out of it. So we have been doing our best to help. Obviously, that's a sector of our economy that's been particularly challenged by COVID. But I think you've seen a lot of very popular restaurants continue to be very successful and stay very busy, even though in a lot of cases they've literally shut down, on-site And I know that my family has really developed, a lot of new favorite restaurants, given the opportunity I've had to go and do takeout. So there's been some programs that the Downtown Mesa Association and the Chamber and others have done a good job of helping to promote a lot of these great businesses, great restaurants that are offering great deals on takeout. And I hope people are taking advantage of it.
Well, I agree with you about good food in Mesa, although I would accept your challenge of maybe you taking me out to dinner for a week in a row.
All right.
To vouch for it, can I mention where we had lunch? Sally Harrison, the president of the Chamber, took me to lunch today at Blue Adobe. Man, that is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going back for dinner.
Did you try the lobster tamale?
You know, I'm shellfish allergic. Otherwise, she had the crab cakes, and it was, I have to social distance from shellfish, but I had the soft tacos, and
yeah,
it's good. I've never had a bad meal in Mesa. Get out and eat. Support your.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, as a guy who makes his living in the public, there's a lot of people right now, servers and everybody that you don't see at a restaurant, that are hurting right now. So support them any way you can. Be a generous tipper. If you can go out, even if you're just taking takeout, that food doesn't magically fix itself and box itself up and put itself in the bag for takeout. So take care of your favorite restaurants and your favorite servers with an extra generous tip. It feels good. It'll come back to you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, when this is all over, by the way, do you have any inside scoop? Do you know when this is all going to be over, Mayor?
No. I mean, I'm like everybody else. I'm obsessed with reading and watching news reports, and I'm on that question. I'm generally optimistic, but on that question, I think we all need to be a little bit pessimistic and understand that this is not going to be over in the short term. Developing a vaccine. We don't. Depending on who you trust, that could be the end of the year. It could be the first part of next year. And even after that, I'm not sure when it's going to have the impact that we need it to, so that social distancing is no longer necessary. So I think we all need to plan on at least, spring, before we start entertaining the idea that life is going to be somewhat normal. But even then, I mean, the secondary tragedy in all this is the economic downturn that's resulted. I think Mesa is going to come back more quickly than a lot of communities. Because we were so hot, prior to the commencement of COVID, and there's still a lot of growth that's occurring in our city. There's still a lot of large construction projects that are well underway. I think we're going to be poised as a community to bounce back very strong from the economic impact of this. And as to the health consequences of it, I think my fingers are crossed, but I'm a little pessimistic. It's going to be any time in the near future.
Yeah, well, realistically, I think you're probably you're smarter than I when it comes to this. But boy, it's tough right now, and everybody's fighting a battle on this. I kind of hate the saying we're all in the same boat, because I think we're all in the same ocean. Some of us have nicer boats than others, but it's good to see that Mesa is doing what it can to look for help for all of us. So I appreciate.
Yeah, and to that end, I would encourage people. I mean, I know that there's this controversy in some circles about wearing a mask. The county, Maricopa County, the city of Mesa, we do have mask orders in place, and so I would encourage folks. And the reason for these mask orders is not because anyone is anxious to be a big brother and impose restrictions on people's lives. What we're trying to do with these mask orders is to get our kids back to school. What we're trying to do is to avoid the need to shut down businesses. I know a few months ago there might have been a debate as to the effectiveness of masks in stopping the spread of the virus, but that debate's been resolved at this point, and it's been established that wearing a mask is really the best thing that we can do as a community to try to curb the spread of the virus. So please do your best to honor that mask requirement when you're inside. In a social situation with folks other than your immediate household, it's important that you wear a mask. When you're outside and you can't social distance, likewise, it's important that you wear a mask. And by doing that, again, it's our hope that we can get our kids back in school, we can keep our businesses open, and we can flatten the curve, which, as we know right now in Arizona, doesn't look like a curve. It looks like a spike.
Well, this is not real scientific, but I've done my own surveys. 9 out of 10 people think I look better with a mask. And, and 4 of those are in here right now. So we'll just go with that. You know, one of the benefits, too, that if I was the mayor, I'd be touting one of the things that Mesa's got that's supposed to be good to fight the COVID. Vitamin D, the sun. Get out, enjoy your life a little bit. Get out and get some of that good Mesa sun. It's free, and get out and soak up some sunshine and get some fresh air. And as we heard earlier, the air's never been better. Get out and breathe some good fresh air and live your life a little bit.
Amen, Mark. I think exercise is actually an important part of this. Even days like today, if you get up, with the sun, it's very pleasant outside. One of the real problems that we're experiencing, like I've talked about a minute ago, is anxiety and mental health and cabin fever. So I think it's important, not just for you, but for the sake of your family, your kids, for those who have to live with you. Please do us all a favor and get outside, stretch your legs. There's absolutely no requirement that you wear a mask. In fact, please don't while you're exercising. That's okay. But for just like I say, our own mental health and emotional health, it's important that we stay active, we stay engaged. Social distance doesn't mean to divorce yourself from your family and your friends and the people that you love. I mean, it's important that we stay close to them and get outside and get some exercise.
That's great advice, not just now, but all the time. Anything else you'd like to share with the chamber viewers and also the viewers at large?
Well, I appreciate Dave's reminder that we're in the midst of a hydration campaign. We've got a lot of folks that are at risk in this situation, even more so than they are on a normal in a normal scenario. So we've been using some of this CARES Act funding that I talked about earlier to address some of those populations, the homeless population being one, and the hydration campaign is really a matter of life and death for that population. I mentioned earlier that we're all anxious to get our kids back in school. Another thing that I'm proud of that the city is doing is we're really partnering well with our school districts. We recently committed to buying devices for all of our elementary school kids because we know that distance learning is going to be a part of the new normal going back. So I'm proud that we were able to use that CARES Act money, and again, in a way that I think is really going to be beneficial for all of us and help get our kids back in school.
That's great. Well, I say it every time you're on the show, Mayor Giles. Mesa is a great place to live, a great place to work, great place to raise your family. And boy, thanks for being one of the true driving forces behind that. Appreciate you taking time out of what's got to be hectic. It's got to be a crazy time to be the mayor, but I can't think of anybody I'd rather have in the position than you, outside of possibly me.
Okay. I'm going to take you. I got your number right here, Mark. So stay close to your phone.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Good to have you. I can't wait till we can do this in person again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Giles, the mayor of Mesa, Arizona. Well, that's going to do it. That's going to be a great way to finish up our first ever virtual edition of Mesa Morning Live. We appreciate you taking time out. It's I wish I could see all your faces because that's what makes my job as the host of this show so much fun, is to hang out with you guys. And I wish I could see most of you, not all of you. You know who you are. But I can't wait till the day we can get back together at Crescent Crown, the great sponsors and the host of Mesa Morning Live. I look forward to those days. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your business, thrive as much as you can during these tough times, and we'll do it again as soon as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you, Mesa, Arizona, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great day.